Alright, welcome to my channel and to this video. Today we're going to be taking on this project. I was filling up the gas tank the other day and the cap just kind of popped right off. That's supposed to swing. It attaches to the door right here and you can see it snapped right off that piece of plastic. So we're going to be fixing this and making this attached again. So I'm taking a flathead screwdriver and I'm prying off this piece. It attaches to this little metal hole in the swinging door, just like that, and it pops out. I was careful not to, of course, break that plastic. Now, there's a lot of different ways you could probably do this, and there's probably some professionals out there who, have a much clearer idea. But my idea was, okay, we've got these two pieces of plastic, and we need to adhere them somehow, right? And so I'm going to show you what worked for me, and hopefully this can give you some ideas. Now notice I am cleaning this off with a stiff wire brush, the ends of it, because I am going to be adhering some things onto this, and I just want that oxidized plastic to pretty much be removed, or maybe there was some gas, spray over the years. I mean, this thing's probably, our vehicle's like 10, 11 years old, so you can assume it's probably a little dirty, so I was cleaning that off. I did wash it as well. So I've got this hot plastic welding tool, and I'll put links down below in the description for pretty much everything you see here. I invested in one of these hot welding tools with a really flat, broad, triangular tip because I was fixing my my water tank in my fridge. It sprung a leak, and I figured out a DIY way to fix that. So anyway, I had this thing. It's a pretty inexpensive tool for the toolkit, and you can see here I am melting down the ends of each plastic piece so I can increase the surface area of this. I actually tried to just melt it directly into each other, but I couldn't get enough leverage for that to happen. So I am, again, melting the tips down on each side to make as flat a surface as possible. And then I'm just trimming it up and then brushing off some of the excess plastic. So nothing fancy here, and you're going to see why I'm doing this in just a minute, because I'm going to adhere the two pieces of plastic just like this. And I want as much contact as I can. By the way, click that subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video and share this if you think somebody might benefit. Appreciate that. Thanks. Back to business here. I've got some, it's the equivalent of super glue, but it's specifically for plastic, vinyl, and I don't know, it's probably a host of other materials. So I am using this because it claims to be able to bond plastic together really well. And so I'm applying this liberally to both ends of the just melted and now cooled pieces of plastic. Now the only thing I need to do is figure out how to keep it here for about 2 hours, which is the recommended cure time on the back of the instructions for this particular glue. So I'm taking a little clamp, and I'm going to put a little bit more glue on it, because as you it's a little awkward to be working with. But we're going to put some glue liberally on both ends, and then find that sweet spot. And I don't care if it actually attaches or dries to the clamp, because I can remove that carefully later. That's not a problem. But let me adjust that, and that's going to hold it in place just like that. So again, we melted the tips to create a flat surface on both sides, and that increases the surface area on which you can put the super glue or whatever glue you're going to be using. So after several hours of cure time, it said 2, I opted for 3 to 4 hours perhaps. You can see here it didn't stick, minimal sticking to the actual clamp. And we are pretty secure, but we're not done yet, because I have a feeling that just like this, that super glue, that glue that I just applied, might fail over I don't know, several months or something of swinging action, right? So instead I've got this, I just hit the junk drawer in the garage, and an old window, a screen window frame. That's a metal frame. You may have seen these. If you go out and take a look at the outside of your screens on your house, you might have a metal fitting that looks like this. So I cut this just a little bit off here, and what that's going to do is create a channel for me to put this the gas cap plastic inside. So it's actually going to kind of hold it there for me while I go to the next step here. And the next step involves taking some tape. I've just got some painter's tape or whatever tape you can probably find. Well, you just need to you need to find something to secure the plastic gas cap cord to the metal frame, right? It's kind of a small piece. You can probably, cut one down to size that's a little longer if you want a little bit more working room. But the idea is that, again, you place that plastic gas cap cord into the channel, and we're going to get the heating tool back out and warmed up to full temperature. And check this out. I'm taking a little bit of the excess plastic strip that came with the little tool kit here, and just delicately putting on some additional plastic. If you don't have additional plastic, you can work with the existing cord, and what that channel is doing here is that it's making sure that all that melted plastic goes down into and around that area. So yes, we're actually heating up the area that we just super glued. Obviously, you don't want to get any type of heat around super glue, so make sure it is obviously dried before you do this, right? I didn't have any problem whatsoever. Of course, I followed the instructions really well on the back of the glue. You don't want it to be deal with a flammable situation, right? And what I'm doing is just melting that plastic in a little bit into the channel, and it's going to create a really nice form of new plastic that will, hopefully, the idea is that it joins those two pieces of plastic even more, right? So let's take off the tape and see what we've got here. Put that over there for a moment. And we're going to need to trim that up. You can use some scissors or pick some of it off. It's going to be super thin because you just use that tool to kind of press it down, so some parts are going to just peel or flake right off. Now we're going to flip it around because I want to do the same thing to the other side of the gas cap strap. So we'll tape it on again, and I have to be careful not to burn myself. So I've got my little holder here just to hold things in place so that hot tip doesn't come anywhere near my fingers. That would be bad news. This thing gets very, very hot. And I'm going to hold it down and just do the same thing as I did before to the other side. And that's going to create this kind of 3D effect, right, of new melted plastic that will create adhesion, thus repairing the two broken pieces of plastic. You can see our tool is smoking over there, very hot. Obviously wait for it to cool, which just takes like a minute or so, maybe less for it to cool. It air dries pretty quickly. And I do have an industrial sized fan, by the way, that's blowing on this because you don't want to breathe any of the stuff in, right? So that fan is just preventing it from that smoke going up into my nose as I breathe. And here it is. You can see we're pretty strong. Now I'm not going to hit it up against the wall or anything like that, but I do see adhesion happening with super glue and the melted plastic, and I'm going to call that a fix because this doesn't incur a lot of, violent swinging action. But we're going to get that reattached. We'll just push it right into the door there like we did when we took it out, and that should be good to go. Hopefully this has helped you. Thanks.